Welcome back to our conversation with Lisa Kashinsky of Politico. If you haven't signed up for her daily weekday newsletter, the Massachusetts Playbook, do so. It's a must-read if you're interested in local politics. And Lisa, you've been spending some time in New Hampshire covering the primary race up there. I know you've been interacting with your sources. We're taping just the day after the debate, but I know you never sleep, so you've already been interacting with your sources. What are you picking up as far as fallout from that debate?
So this debate basically, without Donald Trump on the stage, allowed some of these lower polling candidates, basically everyone else in the field, to really kind of introduce themselves to voters beyond, you know, the small segment of the population that goes to these town halls in New Hampshire and Iowa. And for some of these lower polling candidates who have had this kind of a lot of interest from New Hampshire voters, but not a lot of firm support, this debate may have gone, you know, a good way in helping to firm up at least a little bit of support for these candidates that have really just struggled to move.
Like who? Who do you think might be due for a bounce?
From the folks that I talked to, I was talking to both Massachusetts and Republican voters and operatives during and after the debate. They all said that Nikki Haley, the former South Carolina governor, really impressed them. And she's someone in New Hampshire who's been there at least once a month, you know, since her launch in mid-February, is very well liked by people, but has very little commitment. And now people might be willing to give her that second look or actually kind of commit to her a little bit more, given that she seemed to have a strong performance at Wednesday's debate.
Okay, at this point, I'm going to do my usual disclosure, which is that a close family member of mine is involved in the Haley campaign. I, however, am neutral. And I got to say, she may have done well, but in spite of all sorts of insinuations to the contrary, the New Hampshire Republican landscape, to me, just looks like Trump country, just like it's been.
It does.
Am I wrong? Or?
No, you're not wrong, and nothing that happened at this debate, especially by having it being followed up by Donald Trump appearing in Fulton County, you know, the next day, this doesn't change kind of the fact that he's leading the field. And this debate, while it may get a couple of points in any direction for any of these lower polling candidates, is not going to dent what's, you know, a double-digit 20, 30-point lead for the former president.
You know, I, at this point, certainly understand and acknowledge the appeal of Donald Trump within the party, within the base. It's deep and it's long-lasting, and it endures, it thrives even on adversity. It's just sort of odd about New Hampshire. I mean, it's a relatively moderate state, kind of a purple state. The economy's been good. There's not a lot of economic deprivation in New Hampshire. You look at Chris Sununu, an anti-Trump governor and highly popular. How is it that that still adds up to New Hampshire being Trump country?
Well, New Hampshire is the first state that gave Donald Trump a primary win in 2016, so he has had a loyal following there for some time. But you know, keep in mind, New Hampshire is a state that breaks late. They really, people up there really take the time to get to know these candidates, vet them, shop around. There's a lot of voters I talk to where they're leaning one way now, but they're open to someone else. And that is even the case with Trump. Some people are still open to him, might go somewhere else in the end. And, you know, with the Iowa caucuses first, you know, a lot can affect what happens by the time we get to New Hampshire.
And let's be honest, they love the attention in New Hampshire. Democrats and Republicans, and boy, do they milk it every 4 years.
Absolutely.
Lisa, it's great to see you. Thank you for your insight.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for joining us. As always, enjoy the remainder of August. We'll be back next week at this time, but for now, I'm going to send it back over to my colleagues for more WBZ News.